والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So it is my great pleasure actually to be among you today, and I would like to thank all the organizers and administrators for this program. My name is Sara Abdalla, and I will be co-presenting this module. We will have another presenter as well. This is about business analytics and AI in Islamic management, and this is under the theme of Islamic business ethics and leadership. So I have been teaching quantitative methods and business statistics and analytics for about a decade now, and there is this wide misconception that it's all about the numbers, it's all about the data, and it actually not. So I remember in one of the classes, I was presenting the course outline for the decision science course, and I mentioned the topic of Islamic perspectives. And some students were actually surprised, and one of them said, okay, it's just numbers. How do we relate this to Islamic principles? How do we relate this from an Islamic perspective? And we will see in this presentation how this can be done. But the main idea is that it's not just about the numbers. So the data analytics, data science, AI, it's not just about the technology behind it. It's about the value that it brings and the decisions, the quality of the decisions that can be improved using these methods. So this is a brief outline about what we are going to cover in this session, starting with the fundamentals. So let's start with what is business analytics. So when we say business analytics, it's actually a name for a discipline that has been here for many years under different names. So it goes under the name of management sciences, decision sciences, also the operations research. Many names actually cover what we are going to discuss. So a simple definition for this is that it is the use of data to make better decisions. And since we are talking about the business context, this will be better business decisions. Think about it as the process of transforming the raw data into meaningful insights. A more formal definition for what business analytics is comes from the International Institute of Business Analysis, and it defines it as the practice by which a specific set of techniques, competencies, and procedures. So these are the elements that covers the practice. These are used or applied to perform continuous exploration. So it's not just a linear way to do it. It covers the continuous exploration, iteration, and investigation of past and present business data. And why do we do this? What is this done for? To gain insights. And this gained insight is going to be used to make better decisions. Okay, so this is what business analytics is about in general. When we look at the types of business analytics, we can divide them into roughly 4 types. The first type is known as descriptive analytics. In descriptive analytics, we answer the question, what happened? So we deal with summarizing and understanding historical data to provide insights into past events and outcomes. So we want to understand what exactly happened. The second type is called the diagnostic analytics. And this answers the question, why did it happen? So now this thing happened that we covered in descriptive analytics. Why did it happen? This approach digs deeper into the data and tries to identify the root causes and the factors that contributed to this specific results or patterns. The third type is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics takes a step further. So it answers the question, what might happen? So we try to forecast or try to look into the future. This forward-looking analysis will now use the historical data, the elements that we uncovered in the descriptive and diagnostic, and tries to forecast future trends, behaviors, and potential outcomes. The final level of analytics, the highest one, is the prescriptive analytics. It answers the question, what should happen if we want this to happen, or what should we do? So it prescribes what should be done in order to achieve a certain outcome. This advanced form of analysis does not only predict, so it goes beyond the prediction and tries to suggest specific actions and strategies to optimize the outcomes and achieve desired goals. So as you have seen, I think you can imagine that these levels go in a sequential manner. So you cannot directly jump to the prescriptive or the predictive without covering the basics, the descriptive level. So let's take an example for how this might look in actual business setting. So let's say that you are running a restaurant. So the type of data that you need to collect in order to run business analytics is, for example, the daily sales for each item on your menu, the customer feedback ratings, how they liked or disliked the items, the peak ordering times when the orders are at their highest, and the delivery distances. So what area is covered under your delivery. When we get this data, we can then gain the insights using the different levels of analytics. So when we analyze the most popular dishes, what was sold the best, this is descriptive. We are describing what happened. When we answer the question, why do certain locations perform better? Why do we have higher sales in certain areas? This is a type of the diagnostic analytics. When we try to predict the busy periods during seasons such as Ramadan, this is predictive. So we use previous data to look into the future to see what can happen, what might happen. And finally, if we want to make recommendations to actually inform the decision making, then we will use the prescriptive to recommend, for example, menu adjustments based on what the customers liked or disliked. As I mentioned, these levels goes in a sequential manner, and the value that we gain from each level increases with its complexity. So when we run descriptive analytics, we usually use simple methods such as pie charts, maybe graphs, simple graphs, and this can be done easily using standard software like Excel, for example. Or even through just simple calculation, you can do it manually if the data is limited. But as we go higher, we see that the resources used in terms of the human resources and the software to be used will increase in complexity, but the value that we gain from these insights will be higher. So it is important to notice here that when we talk about the descriptive and the diagnostic analytics, these actually cover what happened in the past. But the predictive and prescriptive analytics talks about the future. They are more forward-looking. So when we want to analyze data, we must first answer the question, what is it that we want to know? Or advanced analytics. And this aligns with the value in Islam of being mindful about the resources, not being wasteful, and the concept of israf. So even if we have the resources, we should not just waste them answering questions that are not necessary. Of course, the complexity will be needed at some point, but it is just important to match, to align the resources used with whatever type of question we want to answer. So now that we've covered what business analytics is, let's take a look at AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is composed of many interrelated concepts. So we are just going to touch the base here about what are the key concepts and how they are related. So to begin with, AI, or artificial intelligence is the theory and methods to build machines that think and act like humans. So the idea is that we want to enable computers to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So AI can perform human intelligence in some tasks, while they fail in other tasks that may even look simpler to us. For example, the I'm not a robot test that you get when you try to sign in into your account or just create a new account. It looks like a very simple task, but general AI cannot do this in a good performance because the type of intelligence that we're talking about is different. So AI is a discipline, just like biology or business, or it's a broad discipline. Under this, we have machine learning. Machine learning is a subfield of AI. What it does, it trains data. So it is a program or a system that trains models from input data. What happens is that we provide the system with a large amount of data and then train the system to understand the patterns in this data. And after that, we give the system new data that it haven't seen before and ask the system to find the patterns in the new data that it has not been trained on. So that's that the name machine learning comes from. You teach the machine using data, certain data, and then ask it to perform the learning that you've done into something new. Just like what we do in the classroom when we give the students examples, for example, how to write an essay. So we give them multiple examples and show them how is the structure, what should we do, how to make the writing clear and concise and so on. And then we give them a different topic that they should cover using the same structure. So the same thing happens with the machine. We give the machine or the system data. We classify it, we tell the machine that this means that, and then we ask it to perform or apply its knowledge onto new data. For example, we might have a system that learns how to recognize halal certification symbols on product packaging after training it on thousands of images. So we give them thousands of images that this, with different variation, represents the halal certification symbol. And then we give it a new symbol, and then it should know, does it look like the data that we have seen before or not? And of course, sometimes it fails. That's why we should look into the performance of the model. So going deeper, we have what is called the deep learning. So the deep learning is actually an advanced type of machine learning where the use here of neural networks. Neural networks actually mimics the human brain structure. And of course, it requires a higher technology, higher skills, but the performance is, of course, better than the normal machine learning. And this allows them, the systems, to process more complex patterns than the traditional machine learning. So, for example, the recommendation engines or the autonomous vehicles, these cannot run simply on the machine learning, the simple machine learning. They need deep learning, and this will enable them to run more complicated tasks. For example, the recommendation engines, such as those in the shopping apps, for example, if you're using Amazon or Shopee, it learns from your shopping pattern, your shopping behavior, what you are interested in, the keywords you insert, and then it suggests relevant products for you and using what it has learned from your previous behavior. So under the deep learning, we have generative AI and large language models. These, of course, use the same neural networks to run complicated tasks, and this is a subset of the deep learning. And the most popular type of generative AI is ChatGPT and other Claude, and Grok. And these, what they do is that, again, because they are under the machine learning and the deep learning fields, they are trained on large amounts of data, and then their task is not to decide whether, for example, this matches the halal certificate symbol or not. Their task is to generate new content. This new content can be text or images or videos or whatever type that is required. And this, of course, is a more complicated task. That's why it is more specific. Okay? So now that we have covered the basics of AI and what it means, it is important to make the distinction between what is AI and what is not AI, because now with the advancement of technology, we see a lot of systems and applications, and sometimes we don't know if it's AI or not. So a simple way, or kind of a clearer way to make this distinction, is it AI or not, is to look into the main characteristics of what makes AI an AI. And this is autonomy and adaptability. Autonomy means that the system can perform the tasks in a complex environment without constant guidance by the user. So if you give the system a task and it completes it without you having to specifically specify every aspect of the task, then it has an element of an AI, which is autonomy. And the other element is adaptability. So the system should be able to improve its performance by learning from its experience. So when you're having a chat with ChatGPT, for example, and you ask for an output, and then it's not what you exactly wanted, and you give more feedback, and the next time you come to make the request, it's going to learn from your feedback. So it's going to learn from its own experience. So let's play a little game, a very short one, to answer this question: is it AI or is it not AI? So look at these examples, and I want you to take a minute to think: is it AI or not? Can you figure it out? So here, the first one is to predict the stock market by fitting a curve to past data about stock prices. Is it AI or not? A GPS navigation system for finding the fastest route. AI or not? Big data storage solutions that can store huge amounts of data and stream them to many users at the same time. So you can just maybe insert your answers in the messages. Like you can write one yes or no or anything. Or you can just think about it. Okay. AI, one yes, two kind of, one kind of, no, yes. Okay. Let's give a couple more answers and then we can give the answer. Oh, it's all AI for Selma. 1 and 2 are AI. Okay. So let's find out. First one is kind of an AI. So when we predict the stock market by fitting a curve to past data, this is business analytics. So we're trying to make a forecast based on past data. It's not entirely AI because it's not adaptable. So some element of AI is there, but it's kind of an AI if we let the system, like we do in machine learning, we give the system the data and we don't specify anything. We just let it figure out which line to be fitted, which curve to be fitted. Because in regular analytics, predictive analytics, we need to specify some relationships and so, but it's not entirely AI unless we add more of the AI elements to it. For the second one, it's definitely an AI because it has both elements, the autonomous or the autonomy. So the Google Maps app will just look by itself. you will just input the destination, and then it will find the shortest route or the best route automatically, and it will adjust. So it will adapt. It will adjust the route based on any new information it gets about maybe there's a heavier traffic somewhere that will block the road, so it will change. And for the last one, it's not AI because it doesn't have an element of autonomy or adaptability. What happens is that it's just a storage solution. We have, just like when you upload your data to Google Drive, but it is more capable because it can stream this to many users at the same time. So it's not autonomous. It doesn't have any element of adaptability. You as a user, need to make the changes manually by yourself. So it's not considered AI. I hope these examples makes it clearer for you what is AI and what is not. Okay, so now that we know what is business analytics and what is AI, I'm just going to go quickly through the relationship between them. So business analytics and AI exist in a symbiotic relationship. Each of them enhances the capabilities of the other. We see that the business analytics focus is on examining the data to uncover the insights and make better decisions. And AI, what it does is that it provides the computational intelligence to automate and predict and optimize the analytical processes. So we can say that business analytics provides the data foundation to better AI. So when you use AI on bad data, it's not going to give you the results you're looking for. So you need to start with a solid foundation of good data analytics. You apply the principles in a right way, you get high quality data and prepare it for the use of AI. So we can say that AI will act as a powerful enabler. It's going to amplify the capabilities of good business analytics practices and good outcomes that comes from the business analytics. So it will enhance the analytics, the pattern recognition, because analytics is looking into patterns, right? So it will enhance these capabilities. It will enable the automation of the processes instead of just going manually every time and doing them. And it will also allow the real-time processing, because if you're performing analytics without the use of AI, you will not most likely get real-time results. You will need to update and then wait for those results. But with AI, because of the massive capabilities, we can stream this in real time. So they reinforce each other. If you have good data coming from good business analytics practices, then the use of AI will strengthen this power that you have using two at the same time. Okay, so now let's explore the Islamic perspective on this. So when we talk about business analytics and AI, what we're actually talking about is knowledge. So this is a type of knowledge. In Islam, seeking knowledge is not just encouraged. It's actually an obligation. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. And this type of knowledge we're talking about is not just religious knowledge. It is important. It is the basic, but it's not just limited to this one. So طلب العلم that is mentioned here covers all beneficial knowledge. So when we look at business analytics and AI, these are types of acquired knowledge, ilm, as opposed to what we have as the revealed knowledge, al-wahi. And we are asked, we are required, we are obligated to seek this type of knowledge. Okay, so here, when we talk about the beneficial knowledge, this includes understanding the patterns and systems that Allah has embedded in His creation. So when we look into business analytics and AI, we're trying to understand the divine patterns in Allah's creation. So the market behaviors, the supply chain efficiencies, the consumer behaviors and consumer needs, and all the changes around us. From an Islamic perspective, this pursuit of knowledge carries a sacred dimension. We are complying with Allah's orders. So we're not just crunching numbers. It's not just about numbers, as some people may think. We are actually reflecting on the ayat of Allah. We're reflecting on the knowledge, the science that Allah has embedded in His creation. So with this perspective, this immediately transforms what we think about data. It's not just to exploit the maximum profit or to achieve the highest outcomes. It is a sacred trust that we should use in the benefit of the entire community or the ummah. Now, with this central concept in mind, we can see technology as amana. It is a trust, it's a responsibility that we should carry. And with this, we can derive comprehensive technological ethics frameworks that are based on the Islamic concepts. So the core concepts that I'm going to discuss here, and I'm sure there are more, there are many, but I'm going to focus on 5 of them. So let's look at the first one, the intention, the niyyah. Everything starts with a good intention. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us that actions are judged by intentions. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. So when we develop this technology, the purpose behind the use of technology, are we developing these analytic systems to help people to genuinely make an impact? Or is it just to maximize profits, regardless of the impact? For example, for Islamic banks, when we use predictive analytics to help the customers avoid financial hardship by identifying early warning signs of debt problems, this is a sign of having a good intention in using technology. We're not just using this to maximize loan approvals, regardless of the customer's ability to repay. The second principle is the benefit, manfa'. The knowledge that we are seeking should be useful, beneficial. So here, this principle, the technology that we're pursuing should create genuine value for the humanity and support human flourishing. So a good use of the technology is, for example, for education platforms. So when we use AI-powered learning systems that are capable of adapting to different learning styles and provide quality education access to remote communities, we're actually using the technology for the good. So we are creating a nafi'. A bad example in this case is to use the data to manipulate or to exploit the people, such as what happens in social media. So the analytics of platforms such as Facebook are designed in a way to enhance engagement. So when you open a social media app or any type of social communication app, what happens is that it is designed to keep you there. So even if you are bored, it's just going to jump up with a notification, tell you that someone has done something, someone has posted. You will see videos popping all the time. And the reason is that it is designed to maximize the benefit for the company. They want you in the app for the longest time possible, but it's not beneficial for the people. It's only beneficial for the company. And this takes us to principle number 3, which is harm prevention. La darar. Again, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has stated that there should be neither harm nor reciprocating harm. So la darara wa la dirar. So this requires us to carefully assess the potential negative impacts of the technologies. When we are using these apps, we should consider the impact on the user. Or when we are designing any kind of analytics, and we will talk more throughout the sessions about fairness and bias and all the negative and positive implications of technology, but we should always consider what can go wrong, what are the negative impacts that can happen. The fourth element or principle is justice or adl. So when we design any kind of technology in business and in other contexts as well, we should ensure that they are accessible fairly and don't create or amplify inequalities. So when we design this, for example, a business case is the use of share riding companies such as Uber or Grab. So the analytics of the system, the app, will detect when there is a surge. So they will implement surge prices. If you are in a hurry or if it's crowded, if there are limited drivers on the way, the price will go up. Okay, so to a limit, this is acceptable. So this goes within the patterns of demand and supply and prices and everything, but it should be limited. So what happened is, like, companies like Uber, for example, when they got complaints about this, they capped the surge pricing during escalated emergencies and natural disasters. So you would expect that if something bad happened, kind of a disaster, there will be higher demand for vehicles. So in this case, the price will not go up, using, of course, the pattern detection to know what exactly is the reason. So in this case, the benefit, the algorithm is designed to reduce the profit, but it is on the benefit side of the not exploiting the human vulnerability. Okay, the final principle here is human dignity, or karama. We need to preserve the human dignity. So how can this be applied to technology? We can see an example from Amazon company. So the Amazon warehouse surveillance, they use systems analytics to monitor every aspect of the worker behavior. They want it to be in the control and know exactly what the workers are spending their times in. But this came at the disadvantage of the employees. So even their bathroom breaks were monitored, and the termination recommendation were applied automatically based on if you are active or not, if you are productive or not throughout your work. So this goes against the human dignity aspect and the Islamic guidelines to put the humans first. So when we look into these guidelines collectively, this will transform how we approach technology. So it's not just a neutral tool. We're not just looking to maximize the value. We want to use this responsibly and wisely to make benefit for the greater community. And this combined framework, or this framework, operates within what we know as the Khalifa framework. In this earth, in our lives, we are not the owners of what we have. We are just trustees. We are khalifas. So this means that the technology should serve maqasid al-sharia, the higher objectives of the Islamic law, to protect life, intellect, progeny, wealth, and faith. So we need to make sure that whatever we do is aligned with these principles. So in practical terms, this might mean that we choose algorithms that promote transparency over those that maximize short-term profits, or ensure that AI systems do not perpetuate injustice or discrimination. Okay, so here I'm going to just add a note. I'm not going to go into details. We all know that Muslim contributors have established what we know as technology now. So the data science, the origins, it's not imported from the West civilizations. They actually have deep roots in the Islamic civilizations. So when we look at this, it is important as we approach data science and technology to remember that this is our heritage. It is our responsibility to continue this tradition of Muslim leadership and scholarship in what is related to this science and in science in general. So we should look at this as a responsibility and an extension for the concept of Khalifa on earth. Now I'm going to conclude. I'm not sure how much time I have. So I'm going to conclude with a comprehensive example to cover the different types of concepts that we discussed today and how they can be integrated in applications. So if we want to apply this in real world, how does it work? So I'm going to take an example of halal food industry, since it is one of the fastest growing industries now. The global halal food market is actually worth over $2 trillion, and it is growing rapidly. I'm not sure about the accuracy of the number, but we can see that even if it's outdated, it should only be going up. So as this industry expands, there is an increasing need to leverage advanced technologies like business analytics and artificial intelligence while ensuring that every aspect remains halal compliant. So this framework that I'm presenting here will show exactly how we can achieve this. So we have three interconnected pillars. First, we have the business analytics. And under this, we have the supply chain visibility, quality control metrics, the market demand analytics, certification tracking. If you have been listening carefully to the previous session by Dr. Mariam, I think even if you don't have some background about it, you should be having some by now. So the idea about the supply chain management as a whole. So here we have all these elements in supply chain management that are related to the analytics. So what do we need to monitor? On the other hand, we have artificial intelligence. So in the artificial intelligence level, we can encompass automated certification verification, for example. We can include the contamination detection, demand forecasting, automated demand forecasting, and real-time forecasting, and also the blockchain integration for traceability. So all this can be applied, and we have seen in previous slides how we can integrate or enable business analytics through the use of AI. Okay, so when we do this, we actually improve the performance of the supply chain. But is it integrated with Islamic framework? So here comes the real power of this framework, that it integrates all the elements within the Islamic integration. So what we do is that we take these principles that we've discussed. So we should ensure halal integrity maintained through the ethical data usage. So starting from the business analytics, when we get the data, we need to make sure that the data is gained or acquired through ethical ways, Islamic ethical ways, and then the usage, the transparent processes, and also keeping in mind the stakeholder welfare prioritization. Now, let's see how this can be applied throughout the supply chain. So we have an end-to-end halal supply chain integration. We see at the farm or the source level, business analytics can be used to track supplier certification and make sure that we know exactly where the ingredients come from, because we want to ensure that it is 100% halal. We don't want any chance of contamination. When we do this, we apply business analytics. So in the meanwhile, we can use AI to automate the halal verification and check in for the certification, and also the credentials, the supplier credentials can be checked in real time. So we don't need to go through the paperwork of checking if they are certified or not. This can all be done using AI in real time. So it will speed up the process. As we go through the processing facilities, the business analytics will monitor the quality control metrics continuously. And with the use of AI systems, we can detect potential contamination risks before they become problems. And this dual usage of analytics and AI at the same time will ensure both efficiency and halal integrity. Now, when we go to packaging, the analytics can handle inventory tracking and logistics optimization. And AI can contribute through smart labeling systems that can verify product authenticity and provide consumers with complete traceability information. So you can know everything, just like Dr. Mariam mentioned. We need to be transparent, and the customers need to know what exactly they are receiving. Finally, at the retail level, the business analytics can be used to analyze the market demand patterns and ensure adequate supply of halal products. So we need to make sure that we have enough supply to cover the demand, and we need, of course, to analyze the demand and predict the demand in advance. So here AI can be used to enable the predictive forecasting, but to help the retailers stock on the right products at the right time. So what makes this supply chain unique is that every step along the way is governed by the Islamic principles that we will see now, ensuring that efficiency gains does not come at the cost of the halal compliance. So here we see the Islamic management principle integration. As we go, the first principle, of course, relevant to this context is the tayyib. It should ensure absolute halal integrity throughout the entire supply chain. And this means that AI systems are programmed, they should be programmed to prioritize purity over profit. So even if it means that flagging potential contamination will increase the costs, we should prioritize that instead of prioritizing profit. Also, justice. So this will, the adl concept or justice concept will guide the fair treatment for all the suppliers and the stakeholders. So we will ensure equitable pricing and supplier relationships, while the AI systems will prevent discrimination and promote fairness in automated decisions. So when we decide on the suppliers, we should avoid bias in our selection. We'll talk more about that in subsequent sessions. We should, of course, keep the concept or the principle of amana or trust at the forefront. So this demands complete transparency in certification and the production process, and this drives our commitment to open data sharing and clear communication with consumers about how the food is produced. And finally, we have to keep the ummatic concern, the community concern also. So this focus on making the halal products accessible to Muslim communities worldwide. So even if it's not very profitable, even if there isn't enough demand. So I lived in Japan for some time, and we really suffered from the availability of halal food. So driving the ummah or the ummatic concern will drive us to make sure that these products are available, even if the profit is not justified, or even if it's just barely covering, because again, the profit is not the main concern here. So when we look at this, we can see that the principles, when you first look at them, they may look as they constrain the technology or constrain the profit maximization. It does not. What it does is that it enhances the technology by providing clear ethical guidelines for the implementation. And we can see in a quick, okay, I think I'm going past my time here, but this is, I think, the final slide. So when we make a quick comparison about the conventional business focus and the Islamic management adjustments made, we can see that conventional business models focus on cost reduction, market expansion, brand protection, and competitive advantage. And even when these companies include ethical considerations, they're not Islamic ethical considerations. They're just what their own definition of what ethics is. So our Islamic management approach will maintain these objectives. So we still want to make profit. We still want to make cost reductions by efficiency. We still need to protect the brand. But this is not emphasized over the Islamic ethical considerations. So the halal integrity is prioritized over cost saving. The supplier welfare is encouraged alongside market expansion. The consumer trust is gained through transparency rather than just brand protection. And this eventually this framework will enable the businesses to achieve operational excellence and market success while serving the greater good of Muslim community and society as a whole. So the final takeaways is that we just need to know that business analytics and AI are powerful tools that we are entrusted on. We have the responsibility to use them for the good, and this is our responsibility. This is our heritage that we need to continue to lead on the technology advancement and the technology development for the greater good. And with this, I conclude my session. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you liked it.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your insightfulness sharing today. So now we open for Q&A. If anyone have question, you can raise up your hand so I can unmute.
You have any questions?
We will check in the chat box, Doctor, there is a question or not, because all participants, sometimes they also have question there. Okay.
Thank you.
Most of them, thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Yes, so actually AI will generate information based on our interests. So now we will be training AI to work along the lines of our interests or our priorities. Very, very, very good point. Okay, so what is your opinion on using riskier AI for profit maximization? In which way are they riskier? Like they're not verified, or what do you mean by riskier?
Brother Isa, you can
you elaborate on your question? So the riskier AI for profit maximization.
You can raise up your hand, Brother Isa. Isa Hasanu. I already unmute you, Brother Isa.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Doctor. Yeah, my question is related to those AI technology that are harmful to the environment. For example, we have some kind of robots powered by AI that if you use them, they are very productive, but they are somehow riskier to humanity. So what's your opinion?
Okay, if I understood your question correctly, you're talking about what will happen if we lose control over the AI technology that we have. So if they got out of our control, is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally speaking, everyone is a bit worried that AI will take over the world. And although it started as science fiction, we are seeing signs of things getting a bit out of control. So many AI developers say that we don't really know what happens. They call it a black box. We don't really know what happens inside what we can call the mind of an AI system. So when they produce this data, we're not sure what they're doing exactly. So we cannot control what we don't know. So it will get to a point, I'm not sure when, but it will get to a point that we need to have like strict restrictions on what to use and how to use it, because eventually the technology, as you mentioned, is risky. If we get to a point that we lose control, then we will not be able to define the outcomes. And of course, there will be negative outcomes. There have been multiple cases that the users of AI have received misleading information, like when chatting with ChatGPT or any other system or a generative AI tool. Sometimes they give false information and people act upon this false information and make bad decisions. There was this famous case for a child. I'm a bit conservative about calling him a child. He was a teenager who asked ChatGPT whether it is a good response to actually murder his parents because they restricted his screen time. And ChatGPT went on and said, well, it seems fine to me. And the teenager actually did that. And now the case was in court for asking the really critical question, who is responsible? Is the kid responsible, or the AI technology is responsible for giving bad information? And the main idea that we will also emphasize throughout this the sessions for this module is that we always need to verify the outcomes. But going back to your question is that we don't know. We don't know when it will go wrong. So we just need to be careful when using something new, when you're giving it all the control. So the field is still like gray. There are many items, many considerations that we don't know. Okay, I think we have a question here. I don't know if we still have time about, can't the use of AI lead to job loss? Yes, it will lead to job loss. That's why it is important to upgrade your skills. So if whatever you do now can be easily replaced with an AI tool, you are at risk. And actually, many of us are at this risk because many tools, many AI tools can actually outperform our tasks. So it is important to upskill. There is this saying that goes in social media is that AI will not replace you. A person who knows how to use AI will replace you. So maybe not now, but for the foreseen future, people who have AI skills will definitely outperform those who don't have AI skills. But whether AI will completely replace humans, I think it's a matter of time. And it's just the natural progression. There are many professions that used to be very popular in the past, but now they're completely replaced. For example, the cameraman with the helicopter who used to take the footage. Now this is completely replaced with the drones. So this, whoever who studied this in the past, this entire provision is like in the past. So it is important to analyze. We are living in what is called a post-normal time. I'm going to link this in the references. I actually did not include the references here. But living in post-normal times, we should be mindful that changes are going at a faster pace than we are used to. So we should be careful. There is another question, how to differentiate the outcome of Gen AI that hallucinates and how best to verify it. Okay, so this is a big question, but a general rule is that you always need to check with the references. So for example, ChatGPT does not provide the references, but other tools like Perplexity, for example, it gives you the resources. So the source, where did it get this information from? And you need to go back and check yourself. So although this will make your work a bit more complicated because now you need to go and check with every reference, you need to balance. Is it easier to do the work yourself, or do you want to use AI and double or triple check? Sometimes it can be a balance between, like, you get the AI generated content, but you don't use it entirely. You need to verify with the sources. So it's better to use tools that actually provide the references for